Talk me through what happens next here, because obviously all the eyes of the world are on the Persian Gulf right now. Everybody's focused on what's happening between Washington and Tehran, and certainly on the conversations that you're having here in the GCC area. But in terms of us getting close to war, what is the red line for the United States?
We don't announce the red lines, I think, in the way that is sort of conventionally understood. I think we take it day by day, but it's in the context of a very thoughtful and focused strategy. And that was put in place over a year ago by Secretary Pompeo. When the president got out of the Iran deal, we put in place a new Iran foreign policy that does a couple of things. It is going to deny the regime the revenue that it needs to run a violent and expansionist foreign policy. But it's also designed to bring them back to the negotiating table. So ultimately, we would like to have a new deal that addresses Iran's regional aggression, the missile program, and the nuclear program. In order to get there, it's going to take pressure. And in order to get Iran to change its behavior, it's going to take a lot of pressure. So we're going to increase our sanctions on Iran. We're going to continue with this foreign policy. Iran has a large body of threats to peace and security. We have matched that with a very strong and robust foreign policy. Iran doesn't like it, but it's the right way that we're going to restore deterrence.
But the president says his hand was essentially on the trigger there. What would it take to force his hand? Because already we've seen these 6 attacks on tankers. We've seen attacks elsewhere as well, this unprovoked attack on a drone. I mean, what's it going to take to push America toward action?
We don't telegraph what we do militarily. And so what we are doing is we have new military assets in place. The president brought in place 1,000 troops that we brought in. We have the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group. We have new air assets. We've increased our intelligence resources to this region. The Secretary and I went down to Tampa, Florida earlier this week to meet with CENTCOM to increase our coordination there. So we have a whole of government effort that is designed principally to restore deterrence, and that is our focus. Each day we are looking at how do we prevent an attack from Iran against American interests or against our partners in the region. And we're focused on that. I think a lot of the big attacks that we feared in early May have not come to pass for now, because we have, I think, done a lot to deter Iran. But for the time being, a lot of the large-scale attacks that we feared have not taken place yet.
And so what would be your answer then to those who would be critical of the administration's policy here and say that maximum pressure is actually increasing the threat of a war?
Well, that's only if Iran wants it to be that way. Some people say that we've backed Iran into a corner. We have given Iran many off-ramps, of diplomatic off-ramps, and Iran keeps declining them. So the burden is on Iran to take advantage of an offer from President Trump. That same offer was conveyed through the president by Prime Minister Abe when he visited Iran, and the supreme leader rejected the outreach, and he attacked a Japanese tanker for good measure. So we've made it very clear that while there is pressure, Iran knows how to take advantage of a diplomatic option if it wants to, and it's rejecting that. So if that's going to be their policy, then our pressure is going to continue.